we're back here. This is Primus Learning, and please hit the subscribe button down there and leave us some interesting comments. Want to talk about how to prepare for an AWS interview or a DevOps interview. And the particular thing we want to talk about here is the tell me about yourself question. This question is always coming up, and many people are like, hey, how do we answer this question? Tell me about yourself. What do they want me to talk about when they say, tell me about yourself? Some people just go into their history, their biological history. They don't want to know about that, guys. So I want to note a few points that you can bring forth when you talk about or when you attempt an answer to this. So the very first thing is that you want to create a consistent history of your professional life. That is from your first job through to the last one, through the one that you're currently in and that maybe you're interviewing to get into. You want to create a consistent history. What do I mean? So from your very first job, the very first job that you have listed on your resume, you want to trace it back to where you currently are. So for instance, you started working as maybe a business intelligence developer. You want to talk about that, what you did at a high level. 20 seconds, 30 seconds are enough to talk about your first experience. And then what made you to transition to something else if you did transition, or what made you to move to AWS? Maybe you moved to become a database engineer, and what moved you again from being a database engineer. So you want to trace that history up to where you currently are. That's the very first thing. Create a consistent history of your professional life from your first job through to the last one. Try to institutionalize, or categorize the various places you've worked on. That's the second thing to note. Maybe you started in higher education and then you moved to maybe the energy industry and you moved to the food and delivery services and so on and so forth. That way you want to categorize and make sure they understand the types of industries you worked in. Make sure there is a link between the jobs and or a connecting event between the jobs. So, all right, if you worked as a business intelligence developer, what prompted you to move to another one? Maybe you had a deployment or you had something when you were working as a business intelligence developer that was in the cloud space and you were curious to understand what the cloud thing was all about, or maybe they asked you to work in a team with AWS solutions architect and you liked the type of work they were doing, and so you decided to look at it, and so you started studying AWS or something like that. You want to get a connecting event. What made you to change and to begin looking at the cloud space? That is something you need to trace. Make sure the high point is focused on the skill sets the interviewer is looking for. So the high point of your career or of that, tell me about yourself question is you want to focus on the skill sets that the person is talking about and bring in a particular use case that you master very well. So give an example of a use case of something you've worked on. That thing needs to be something that you master very well. So prepare your use case very well. Make sure you understand it from end to end. And that use case should be a solution. You worked on this project and the project was this and this and this from beginning to end. You want to understand all the components of that project because the interviewer wants to drill down a little bit more. Don't go and talk about things that you understand but you don't know very well. Don't just be mentioning services as though you're interpreting something. Just give a highlight of a project you worked on and you know very well. And then after that, allow the interviewer to come in. So tell them, hey, yeah, these are just some of the things that I've done so far in my career, and let them begin asking questions. Don't take 10 minutes just to talk about yourself. When they ask you to tell them about yourself, they want you to use 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or at most 4 minutes to talk about who you are professionally, how your career has been, why you're maybe interviewing for that role, how you fit that particular role. So you want to look at the things that are mentioned in the job description and bring them in your experience such that they understand that this person can be a good fit. Because the interviewer is interviewing you, he has something specific in mind, right? They're looking for a candidate who fits their needs, a candidate who meets their criteria, the things, the job descriptions they've listed. And so you want to come in to prove that you're somebody who can fit that criteria to make them hire you. And so they will be looking for those skill sets. So if you don't have those skill sets are in the job description, you need to study them. You need to learn about um, everything that is in the job description, or at least 70% of what is in the job description. Once you do this, bring these points just in 3-4 minutes at most, and you're good to go. Give them the opportunity to ask you questions, and trust me, they will focus on the main thing that you attacked, your use case. So they will talk about your use case, and they will not be going about asking random questions, because you brought them down to what you've worked on, which is related to what is in their job description. So guys, once you have these points, you're good to go. So tell me about yourself is not to talk for 10 minutes. Tell me about yourself is not to just talk about services that you've used. I hear many people when they come for interviews, they talk about, hey, I've used this service, I've used this and this. What about them? Yeah, you've used them. Anybody can use them, right? You want to talk about who you are and trace a history of what you've done that is related to uh, what the client is looking for this, that is related to the solution the client is trying to build. So that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. Please leave your comments, civil, and hit on the subscribe button if you forgot to do that. And see you again in our next video.